Good evening. Could you all please stand? Hammer it. We're going to start our South Bend Common Council meeting for November the 10th, and we would like to invite Chaplain David Porterfield to please come forth to give us the invocation.
Let us pray. Lord God, it is in you that all of us live and move. It is in you that we have our very being. We thank you for all of the talent and all the work of this council, whose only purpose is to serve the needs of the citizens of the city of South Bend. We pray that you will give them wisdom of your spirit, and that you make them courageous in mind and heart in their discussions and deliberations. And this evening, on the eve of Veterans Day, it is only fitting that we pray for our veterans. God, we thank you for commissioning men and women in the defense of freedom. We honor those who honor and protect us, in many cases laying down their lives so we might live free to pursue our own destiny. Every member of our armed forces takes their oath, knowing that they may be called upon to pay the ultimate sacrifice. Lord, there's no way that we can repay this gift that they give us. For those who have suffered as a result of their sacrifice, we ask for supernatural healing, for peace, and yes, in some cases, even forgetfulness. Lift from them the cares, the burdens of violence. And when they do return home to us, give them opportunities to fulfill their own potentials and their dreams. Open doors for them, even when some of those doors are closed. God, bless our veterans. God, bless America. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Deputy Clerk Fowler, would you please take the roll?
Mr. Scott?
Present.
Mr. Henry Davis?
I'm available.
Mr. Shedd? Here. Dr. Fred Berger? Dr. Barnes?
Present.
Mr. Dieter?
Present.
Mr. Furley?
Here.
Councilmember White? President Oliver Davis?
Present. Thank you.
8 present.
Now, could you please provide us the report from the subcommittee on minutes?
Report of Subcommittee on Minutes to the South Bend Common Council of the City of South Bend. The Subcommittee on Minutes has been accepted. The minutes of the October 27, 2014 meeting of the Council and found them to be correct. Therefore, we recommend the same be approved.
So moved. Second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say sorry. It is carried. Now, for under special business, we would like for Deputy Fowler to please read Resolution 14-101.
Resolution 14-101. A resolution of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, publicly thanking and honoring Homeworks Construction and Home Maintenance, located at 1511 Pulaski in the City of South Bend, for their humanitarian and caring efforts and assisting a South Bend resident.
Thank you. Vice President Dieter.
Thank you. I'd like Representative from Homeworks and Felicia to come forward, please. Since early 2013, the South Bend Common Council has had a Facebook page to provide information about city and council activities, as well as making available another mechanism for constituents to report problems or concerns in their neighborhoods. As a result, improved communication with residents has been ongoing and has potentially saved solutions and being done in a timely manner. Whereas the Council of Residential Neighborhood Committee and the Council of Rules, Health and Public Safety Committee has had the opportunity to conduct 6 Clean the Pavement walking tours throughout the city of South Bend so far this year. And on one of those tours, we became available of a citizen who is in desperate need in light of the condition of their road. Whereas, thanks to collaborative efforts of the homeowner, the River Park Neighborhood Association, and several members of the Common Council who run the walking tour, and especially the dedicated staff and employees of HomeWorks, everyone jumped into action. And the Common Council would publicly recognize that in 2003, Joe Colvin founded HomeWorks Construction and Home Maintenance, located at 1511 Pulaski in the city of South Bend. This company focuses on putting together great teams of honest and passionate people who are building a reputation for being the single source solution for clients. Under the guidance of Adam Brown, President, Kevin Herman, and a team of 30 men and women, they volunteered over 6 hours of their time on a Saturday, tearing off 4 layers of shingles, removing and replacing the rafters, redecking the entire roof, and installing new shingles provided by one of their vendors, North Coast, on a home of this senior citizen in need. Therefore, be resolved by the Council of the City of South Bend, Section 1. On behalf of all the residents of South Bend, the Council is proud to publicly honor, commend the owners, officers, employees of HomeWorks Construction and Maintenance for going that extra mile and not hesitating to become involved in helping change the life of a South Bend resident who is truly in need. Section 2, the Council believes that the dedication for people like those in HomeWorks quietly set an example of how great many people are in the city of South Bend who come together without hesitation to help people in need. Section 3, this resolution shall be enforced in effect after its adoption by this council and signed by the mayor. I would publicly like to thank all the council members who have done all their work in the community. When we started the Facebook page, again, it was a way to reach out to the public. There's been several neighborhood organizations who have also been involved in giving the council members a lot of information. There are many things such as abandoned houses, there are street lights, so many problems that come to light because of that positive interaction between the council members and the people that use Facebook to communicate with us. I would specifically like to thank Alicia Marciniak, who brought it to our attention when her grandmother was the victim of 2 different people who scammed a lot of money from her grandmother, saying they were going to do a road, which never happened. These people since have bolted on the NB and left the grandmother out of a lot of money, but more importantly, not to diminish the financial burden, but left her without a roof. HomeWorks heard about it. They stepped up to the plate. Like is in the resolution, they came out on Saturday with 30 people, and the roof was just in need shingles that needed to be totally removed, new rafters, new plywood, new shingles, and they came out and did this for her grandmother. So, again, on behalf of the council, myself, everyone else in this room, again, we'd like to thank you for everything you've done. I don't think, Felicia, would you just like to say anything briefly?
Really working at Girl Scout, which
For us, I say thank you guys. Adam Brown, President of HomeWorks Construction, 1511 Pulaski Street. I say thank you guys for recognizing it. I think this goes a long way in our ambition to not only change people's lives, but change an industry It was great for our team to come out, guys donating their time and just pitching in. And for a homeowner in the area that we work, it was great to give back in an industry that's taking advantage of people. So we're proud to be a part of that.
I'd like to send this to the full council.
Thank you. Starting with the first district. Comments?
I was out at the house, and this is absolutely wonderful, and I want to thank HomeWorks for their commitment and stepping up. We hear a lot of negative things about what's going on in the city. Here's one that's positive, and we need to play that up more. And thank you guys, and thank your entire crew. Thank you so much.
Good job, and thank you for your service to the community.
Thank you very much for giving back.
I was also there with Derek and Jim, and I'd like to personally thank Derek for taking the lead on this. And all you folks from HomeWorks, I wish you were all council persons with us, because we'd be a better body for people. Thank you.
Thank you so much for looking out for our community.
Yeah, thanks for all your efforts. It's probably appreciated more than you know. Thank you for your service. Will we adopt this by acclamation?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Thank you.
Any knee burns? No.
Thank you so
No
much.
knee burns. Thank you. Thanks.
For being present, right?
Thank you. Thank you.
Good job, buddy.
Thanks.
Hi.
Why do you bring your grandmother with you? Why do you bring your grandmother with you?
I told you she would.
No,
Good job, thank you.
it is that.
Let's see.
Greg, I'm sorry about
Yeah. Go Cubs.
Thank you.
Okay.
At this time, we would like to announce that there will only be one council meeting in December. That will be on December the 8th. There will be no meeting on December the 22nd. Also, we have Mayor Buttigieg here, along with Catherine Rich. And we would like for the mayor to come up and share his thoughts. Welcome to... Good evening, thank you. I will be brief, but I always enjoy the opportunity under the heading of reports to the offices to provide the council with a bit of an update on administration activities and news in the community. I have not had an occasion to do this in some time, so I'll stick to some of the high points rather than try to cover everything especially since I'm it's really the details design. But I'd like to start by taking this opportunity to extend my thanks to the council for all the important work that takes place here, and in particular the passage of two exceptional important pieces of legislation. The first being the 2015 budget. So thank you to everybody who's part of that process, Council and Personnel and Finance Committee. We believe that this budget meets and meets the expectations of the people while also maintaining South End's position as one of Indiana's leading cities from a standpoint of financial strength, as shown by our bond rating. Plenty of back and forth went into this budget, as always happens, and I think as a result of the council being involved in vocal this budget try to reflect priorities of neighborhoods and quality of life. Also, legislation taking away from TIF realignment. I can report to you that was endorsed unanimously this morning by the Development Commission, now allowing us to enable vital projects around the city, including the corridors work on Western and Lincoln West, as well as a great deal of smart streets. Speaking of smart streets, as you've probably seen, the work on William Street is complete, and not long ago we were able to acknowledge and celebrate the success of the Jefferson Street project. We were ribbon cut there, and we were particularly gratified to see a lot of those who expressed the most concern at the outset of the project coming to be some of the biggest supporters. Really thrilled with that. Here on Lafayette, we expect within less than 2 weeks to be able to mark the opening of Lafayette on its impact right in front of the high school, and strictly beyond the announce that. Of course, we'll go place
On the economic development front, over 1,300 jobs now counted this year that have been announced. Now that's announced, not delivered. Of those, about 400 are delivered. So it will be by the end of this year. There will be somebody physically in that position by the end of the year. The other 1,000, balance of 1,300 will come online in future years. And please report that the majority of those jobs are on the west side of South Bend, that is also going to run a lot of our economic challenges that year. Delighted to see the SMART program, which gets people connected up with workforce opportunities. Seems to have had a lot of early success in placing graduates, so we're planning to continue to develop that. And gratified by the dramatic reduction of the unemployment rate, about 5% lower than it was a year ago. But recognizing that we have a great deal more when it comes to economic development. Trust that members of the council saw it online today on the important research done by United Way, and it pushes out poverty identification. Either living in poverty or are, well, technically not below the poverty line, certainly struggling to make ends meet. We're going to continue with a more proactive agenda when it comes to issues related to poverty. On public safety, pleased with the efforts that have brought crime down to previous levels. Pleased to report that the Group Violence Initiative is showing great early promise, with about 30% reduction in person shot since it was first launched in May. But again, really acknowledge there is much more work to be done. Maybe needs more work in order to be the safety community that everybody expects, both in terms of reality and perception. And we'll continue to work and share with this council efforts on that front. Also pleased to report that Check Online are running scoreboard updates and abandoned properties that would not have been possible without the support of the council. Now shows that 612 properties have been addressed, putting us roughly on track to meet our goal of 1,000 houses in 1,000 days. It's going to be a photo finish. We're definitely now hitting some of the hardest properties to deal with, but very excited about what this can do to our neighborhood. Looking ahead, 2015 is going to bring a lot more work on all of those areas that we mentioned, as well as, of course, great opportunity. 150th anniversary, SB 150 is well underway. Also a parks bond, or a discussion with this council, I should say, parks bond, which is going to help us to begin prioritizing among the many great ideas and opportunities that emerge from the Parks Master Planning process of 2014. Overall conditions aren't going to change. Specifically, we will continue to be under financial pressure to be as efficient as possible and make the very most of our resources and opportunities, but I continue to be hopeful that we can make good decisions to do that and also to keep the season growth, because growth is part of how we're going to be able to move forward both financially and just in terms of quality of work. So that's the quick update. We'll be happy to address any questions the council might have for action for that.
Thank you. Starting with Councilman Furley. No, this way, Denise. Negative, I'm good. Thank you.
I have no questions.
No, thank you, Pete. Good job.
Thank you, Pete, and happy Veterans Day.
Councilman, please.
Sure, thank you. I don't necessarily have any questions right now, so I have just some comments, and just bear with me. I'm a little dismayed, to say the least, because we have all of these ongoing issues that we tend to step on or step over or act like don't exist, and try to, and I'm not blaming you for this, believe me, but as the leader of the city, I think that I want to call some of these things to your attention, in hopes that there will be a priority, priorities will be repositioned. I voted against the budget because the budget itself didn't reflect what you were talking about with poverty. Wealth is built with land. I think we all can agree with that. And if we're looking to address or demolish 100,000 houses in 1,000 days, how do we help folks become more economically independent by not allowing them to stay in their properties or allowing them to acquire property or to rebuild existing properties. South Bend as a whole has a fairness, race, and poor people issue. The reason why I say these things is not because I came up with these things. It's because I read the newspaper, I watch the news, I do my job here, and I'm out in the community. There was a newspaper article that ran a couple of days ago. They were talking about the school board itself heard Plan Z update. And it was like 7 schools out of compliance, meaning they had too many of one race in one school versus the other. And you can almost look at which side of the town the schools with the most black kids or most white kids are in. What schools were the more poorest or the most poor versus the ones that are a little bit more wealthy and doing a lot better as far as being graded. Our EEOC numbers are always lopsided as it comes to these issues within departments. They're talking about within supervisory roles or just the average worker roles. We've talked about with the fire department and also the police, just to name a couple departments, but I'm sure there's more than that could be, looked at. And it seems like none of those numbers ever shift or change. There's never a priority. We took a budget and folks, said that the budget was fine and next year we're just going to get back to the police issue next year when we're talking about minority hiring for police officers. And that was the 7th year that I've heard that same comment. We'll get to it next year. We have an issue with minority hiring on construction projects. I go outside, there's millions of dollars being spent out there changing street lanes. I've only seen one woman and one African-American male, and then I saw him today working on these projects. Everybody else has been from the same demographic. How does a community such as South Bend with such diversity only see one demographic working? We just had a conversation earlier today about banning the box. And for the life of me, people looked at me like I was against it. By no means I was against it. As a matter of fact, I tried to get that changed when we did the Human Rights Ordinance. Tried to get that implemented then. During the conversation, I was talking about the way that we apply tax abatements. Not necessarily to ban the box, but total tax abatements across the board. And I come to understand that in Valerie's presentation, she wanted to tell us that, African-American males was only 14% likely to be hired by an employer versus their white counterpart who may even have a record. These are not my numbers. These are what I'm paying attention to. Pet discrimination. We had an awesome time trying to get people to understand that pit bulls were not vicious, when the vast majority of people that own pit bulls look like me. We have a 30% poverty rate. We profile cars. Police department does profile. I am clear on that. I was a product of it. The vacant and abandoned housing, we go back to that. More of them are happening in the poor areas of this community than any other area. I'm sure that same law could be applied to the folks out there in Blackthorn who have vacant and abandoned houses. The same law. The home has not had anybody living in there for X amount of days. It should be declared vacant and abandoned. Does it go on a demo list? Well, the ones on the west side do. I've been called a drug dealer. It was just a joke. Well, it looked like a drug dealer, but it's just a joke. I'm talking about the city's culture right now, because I'm tired of looking at these numbers and saying to my constituents that it's going to get better when it's getting worse. We're ticketing students while they're going to school. How does that happen? We're ticketing students while they're going to school. How does that happen? Dropout rate is at 53%, and over 90% of those kids are African American. South Bend is a community. It's not a black or white community. But for some reason, it just seems like one is spelling versus more than the other. We have a crime problem. Every time I turn on the news, there's something going on with crime. Mr. Theo Roberts comes in, updates us regularly about police department issues. I'm sure you've heard of them. I'm sure you've gotten the mail. Nothing changes. South Bend, the fire department didn't even want to be a part of a minority hiring structure. They wanted to do their own thing. When they only have maybe 6 firefighters who are African American. and they only have a handful who are women. Boy gets into pay for some reason was, fired or terminated from their jobs. Both of them are minorities, and for whatever reason, your chief of staff has the same type of investigation, she gets to keep her job. I'm talking about fairness, sir. I'm talking about fairness. And it's not a Republican, it's not a Democrat issue, it's a South Bend community issue. And I could have written a longer list if I had more time. But we have a real clear problem that there is either us against them mentality, or it's more for them than it is for us. And I'm seeing more of a divide in this community than I've ever seen before in my life. I see more kids being bused to areas like a Kennedy LaSalle, which just has the most vacant abandoned housing throughout the entire city. They give like 50 buses, probably 100 combined together. Kids coming from outlying areas, the kids that live in that direct area are not even allowed to go into that oasis. They built gates around one of the schools to let the people know that the kids can even use the playground equipment, which is part of our park system from the neighborhood. The kids from the neighborhood can use the park equipment because they put a gate around it. They lock it up. And we wonder why we have a crime problem. We have some serious issues here. Very serious issues. And I want to make sure that you understand that, and I am willing to help work with you on these issues. But two-way streets have to be a two-way street. The same investment that's being made down here has to be made out the west of the river in a way that benefits them. Not because it sounds good for the next campaign, but in a way that it benefits.
Thank you.
No, I'm good.
Thank you. Over the next few weeks, I know you've already worked with some of our medical staff, but some have asked in case something ever happens with Ebola here in the city of South Bend. And oftentimes the mayors and the leaders of the town are called upon to answer all these medical questions. Can we have a proactive plan that's in place that's given to all the council members so we would know what the protocols of our city? I know Memorial Hospital has already done some things like that, but if we can have this management if something, any kind of situation like that would happen.
Sure, yeah, I know with many issues, people turn to their elected leaders for answers, and actually, this body has more medical professionals on it than most legislative bodies, but in any case, I want to make sure that you all are equipped with the official responses that the county board of health has. So I'll go ahead and reach out to them and see what they're able to communicate publicly as far as the activated on.
Yeah, and then we can send it out to all of us, and we'll just have a joint statement on that. I appreciate that. I'm good. Everybody else is good. Thank you again for taking the time to come, and enjoy the rest of the meeting. This time, I would like to make a motion to dissolve into the committee of the whole.
So moved.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the same sign. It is carried.
The committee of the whole is now in session. Can I ask, can you all hear me okay?
Yes.
You can hear me okay? Okay. I never know with these microphones. The committee of the whole is now in session. This is the portion of the council meeting where the council sits as a committee. Proposed ordinances are read by title only by our deputy city clerk, Karima Fowler. Reports are then verbally given by the chairperson of the council standing committee to which the proposed ordinance was sent for an advisory review and recommendation. If the proposed ordinance is a zoning ordinance, a report from a staff member of area plan will be given. In all other situations, the formal presentation on the proposed ordinance will immediately follow the committee report and then the formal presentation followed by a public hearing. We do ask out of respect for everyone that's joined us tonight that you put your phones on silent mode if you have your cell phone with you, so thank you. There is additional information governing the committee of the whole and the agenda on the banner there, so if you need that information, it's right on the banner. I will now ask Deputy City Clerk Karima Fowler to read into the record Bill 5614.
Bill 5614, public hearing on a bill to vacate the following described property. The first east-west alley south of Colfax Avenue from Lafayette Boulevard to the first north-south alley.
Thank you, Ms. Fowler. The Public Works and Property Vacation Committee met earlier today. How does that committee send this bill to council?
Henry? Favorable.
Thank you, sir. Do I have a petitioner?
My name is Timothy Baker, 227 South Main Street. I represent LA Counties, and we have requested the vacation of this alley. It has not been an alley for foreseeable past, and we ask that it will pass favorably by the council.
Thank you, sir.
Questions?
I will now ask council, do you have any questions on this bill? Seeing none, thank you. We'll now open it to the public. Is there anyone from the public wishing to speak in favor of Bill 5614? If so, please come to the podium, state your name and address, and share your thoughts. Seeing no one, I now extend an invitation to anyone wishing to speak in opposition to Bill 5614. Once again, please come to the podium, state your name and address, and share your thoughts. Seeing no one, I bring this bill back to the council. Council, what's your pleasure?
Make a motion to send 5614 to the full council with favorable recommendation.
Subject to a cross-estimate
Right.
agreement if necessary.
Second.
Got that.
I have a motion and a second. Do I have to specify?
We need that in the record. There was no one from the Department of Public Works at the committee meeting, so we need to verify whether indeed that's necessary or not. So this protects the city and the council, as well as the property.
We can move forward with the vote?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. I have a motion and a second. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Bill 5614, with the necessary amendments, will be sent to the full council with a favorable recommendation. Deputy City Clerk Karima Fowler, would you please read Bill 4714?
Bill number 4714, public hearing on bill of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, amending Chapter 21 of the South Bend Municipal Code, Article 11, definitions to revise the definition of accessory structure, building, or use.
Thank you, Ms. Fowler. The Zoning and Annexation Committee met earlier today. How is this bill coming to council?
Zoning and annexation met earlier, and we sent 4714 to the full council with a favorable recommendation.
Thank you so much. We now have a presentation from Area Plan.
Good evening, Angela Smith, from the Area Plan Commission with Office on the Building. The bill before you is a text amendment change to the definition of accessory structure. The question was raised when the council was looking at this program for the bill cuts of how such structures were handled in the city. And we felt it important to clarify that the accessory structure provisions in the ordinance are not intended to regulate items such as storehouses, bill cuts, or any items outside. So we went ahead and did clarification of the definition that anything under 4 square feet and 6 feet height would be excluded from being considered an accessory structure. When it comes to from the Area Plan Commission available recommendations, I'm happy to answer.
Thank you so much. Are there any questions?
No.
Thank you so much. Now I will turn to the petitioner.
That was her. The whole shebang.
The whole kit and caboodle. Okay.
Public hearing.
Okay, thank you. So at this point in time, I will now invite anyone from the public wishing to speak in favor of Bill 4714 to come to the podium, state your name and address, and share your thoughts. Seeing no one, I offer the same to anyone wishing to speak in opposition to Bill 4714. Seeing no one, I bring it back to the council. Yes,
Sure, I'd like to make a comment before we take a vote.
please.
So I'd like to thank Angela and the entire staff who put a lot of work into that. Again, this is something that started in the Monroe Park area of people showing interest in this. We have since started basically a pilot, I said basically. We've started a pilot program. These are in 3 parks on the northwest side of town, Hazel Park, Triangle Park, and Fremont Park up in the 1800 block of Fremont. One will be put in Shetterly Park, which is on Riverside Drive, in the next couple days. And thanks to people like Mr. Devon and other builders who are giving us access to plywood and shingles and other things. High schools like Washington, Clay, the Boy Scouts are building these, and we hope to get as many as possible around the city. People are able now to easily put these in their own front yards, like Mayor Ricky did, by building one out of the door, actually, which is pretty nice. So, in lieu of that, I'd like to make a favorable recommendation.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Bill 4714 goes to the full council favorably. Deputy Clerk Fowler, will you please read Bill 4814 into the record?
Bill 4814, public hearing on bill of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, amending Chapter 21 of the South Bend Municipal Code, Article 3, Commercial Mixed-Use District, to add a subsection to Community Business District and General Business District related to the outdoor display and sales of automobiles.
Thank you so much. The Zoning and Annexation Committee met earlier today. How is this bill coming to council?
We send 4814 to the full council with a favorable recommendation.
Thank you so much. And our presentation?
Good evening again, Angela Smith. The text amendment before you this evening is to address current concerns that have been expressed related to automobile sales. There were provisions in the ordinance that dealt with outdoor display of merchandise. However, automobile sales is sort of a unique and different display of merchandise than you might have products that the store sold in there. We took a look at the ordinance. There were 2 areas, the TV community business and TV general business districts, that needed to have alterations to the ordinance in order to address this. Specific subsection related specifically to automobile sales was added to both of those sections. Within this, we reduced the front setback from 15 feet to 5, which would decrease to meet setback variances when you have auto sales. We added provisions requiring that each vehicle have direct access to a lane of travel to prevent stacking of vehicles. We strengthened the landscape provisions within the ordinance to help beautify and buffer these from some residential areas. This comes to you from the Area Planning Commission with a favorable recommendation. Outdoor display and sales operate differently than other outdoor display products, and it creates the need for appropriate regulations.
Thank you so much for that information. Council, are there any questions? Councilman?
Thank you again. We've worked at this for a while. What just comes to my mind at this point in time, what comes to my mind at this time is that those sand car dealerships that we're talking about, is there a signage clause somewhere in there that requires them to have some sort of sign out in front, or if it's not there, I would like to see that it be added as well in the near future. What happens is that the sign is usually spray painted on the front of the building or on the side of the building, or, you know, some very cheap way of getting it done, or there is like a sign that exists from the last business that was there and it just still hangs out there. It's unsightly. Obviously, this is a way of trying to create, you know, better aesthetics, a better way of looking at, you know, these car lots. But I do also notice that there is an issue with the signage at a great deal, and I was hoping that we can go there next. But I'm also full support of it.
I think those comments back, there's a whole section of the zoning ordinance dealing with signage that applies to all properties in the zoning district. The same would apply whether it's a car dealership or a retail store that goes within the same zoning district. So we have those provisions in there. We were need to look back to see how we can fix it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Are there any other questions? Seeing none, thank you. I will now open it to the public for comment. Is there anyone here wishing to speak in favor of Bill 4814? If so, please come to the podium. Seeing no one, the same is for anyone wishing to speak in opposition, please come to the podium. Seeing no one, I bring it back to the council. Council, what's your pleasure?
Favor recommendation. Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Bill 4814 goes to the full council favorably. We have a request to continue Bill 5914 to December 8th.
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Bill 5914 will be continued to December 8th. Deputy Clerk Fowler, would you please read Bill 6014 into the record?
6014, public hearing on a bill of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, amending various sections of Article 12 of Chapter 13 of the South Bend Municipal Code addressing chronic property regulation.
Thank you so much. We had a Health and Public Safety Committee meeting earlier. How does...
We did earlier today, at about 4:09. We discussed the pros and the cons. We're sending this to the entire council with a favorable recommendation.
Thank you, Councilman Dieter. And now our presenter.
Good evening, my name is Tim Scott, 711 Forest Avenue, South Bend, Indiana. This is basically a text change or amendment to the chronic nuisance ordinance, which is going fairly well. One oversight that we had on it was PUD, planning and developments, commercial and industrial properties. We've had examples where large developments, which would have multiple tenants in it, businesses, what have you, would be held accountable for chronic nuisance, even if like one business within it was the problem and the rest were all fine. So what this does is amend that to make PUDs, industrial and commercial, to be hold the tenant responsible for the actions that they bring upon the city. So it would not, in our public transparency and putting on a website, who's responsible for chronic nuisance. This would list just the tenant, but under the PUD or the developer, they would be aware of what's happening within the development. So this just modifies that. It improves the law greatly.
Thank you so much, Councilman Scott. Are there any questions? Seeing none, we'll open it to the public. Anyone wishing to speak in favor of Bill 6014, please come to the podium.
I thought this was a good bill from the beginning when it
Jesse, name and address, please.
Jesse Davis, PO Box 10205, South Bend, Indiana.
Thank you.
Anyway, I thought this was a good bill, as long as it's enforced properly. And I guess I'm in favor of it, but I question, so I just had a question about it. Is this actually, let's say Hickory Village, for instance, so the actual tenant and partner will be held liable and not the managers? They will be aware of it, but let's say the problem consistently happens, they don't get rid of the tenant, then where do you go with that?
Question.
And is this our business is an establishment involving some standards like that as developers if you borrow over here, but I guess that a lot of calls.
So we'll address that in the rebuttal. So is there anyone else wishing to speak in favor of Bill 6014? Anyone now wishing to speak in opposition to Bill 6014? Seeing no one, Councilman Scott, could you please provide information on that issue?
Yeah, I'll use an example. Let's say Mishawaka, the mall in Mishawaka was in South Bend. So you'd have 200 stores or whatever, you would have one tenant within that. So that one tenant was causing the issues. That one tenant would be responsible for any warning letter, any actions from chronic nuisance, any abatement through the city. The developer or the landlord of the entire complex would be aware of what's going on, and would be involved with any abatement or any issues with that tenant, but it would be financially responsible for the tenant to take care of the issue, or if they're slapped with chronic nuisance, that they would pay any fines and fees that were assessed to them.
Thank you. I am bringing it back to the council now. Councilman Davis?
Hey, Tim, again, like I said, thank you for revising this and making it more responsible. I got a question. I got a phone call earlier today, actually, and it was his tenant. I guess he was a landlord. His tenant ended up leaving. It's been a couple of years, actually, since the house has been empty. There's a water bill that still exists in that tenant's name. However, because the tenant didn't pay the water bill, that bill still exists for that particular property, and now that landlord has to pay that entire cost in order for him to bring the water back on if he has another tenant that wants to rent the house. I'm saying all that to say that the same principle should be applied across the board when you're talking about tenants. I'm not making this your issue, but it brought up the idea of what's going on with this particular tenant and his landlord. He's now subjected to city enforcement citations because of the tenant. And the tenant is the one that ran the water bill up, it's in the tenant's name, etc. It's all the tenant. But this landlord is incurring the cost and has to pay the cost back in order for the water to be turned back on. And now, so I don't know where that may fit in on this particular issue or this bill, or maybe it fits in somewhere else. But given the fact that you're making a distinction between tenant and owner, I think that's great. It just needs to be applied across the board. I just noticed that. It wasn't anything I'm trying to jam you up on. I just noticed that.
Yeah, no, I understand. I'm not really sure of your example, because if the water bill was in the renter's name, the landlord shouldn't be responsible for it.
Well, it says the property's owner's responsibility if the bill wasn't paid for that particular property.
No, I'm not sure that. But it comes down to civil matter on that.
Are there any other questions from council?
Move to send 6014 forward to Google.
Have a motion, is there a second? A motion and a second. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, motion carries. Bill 6014 goes to full council with a favorable recommendation. Motion to adjourn?
No supervisory report to full council.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. Can I
You just adjourned the
hear
meeting.
those that are all in favor?
She can't adjourn the meeting.
I'm messing with her. I'm messing.
Thank you.
The full council is back in session. We elect for Deputy Clerk Fowler to please read Bill 214.
I understand what you're saying about that. That's a city issue. That's not a civil issue. Because the city controls the water.
Annexing to and bringing within the city limits of South Bend, Indiana, and amending the zoning ordinance for property located in Clay Township, contiguous therewith, Council Managed District 4, Rainbow Child Development, 17316 and 17288, State Road 23, Stockton, Indiana. A motion to amend this resolution in the form.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. It's carried. Now, can we have what is your pleasure?
Motion for the passage is amended.
Second.
Now, can you please take the roll?
Mr. Scott?
Aye.
Mr. Henry Davis Jr.?
Aye.
Mrs. Shea?
Aye.
Dr. Fred Burley?
Aye.
Dr. Varner?
Aye.
Vice President Dean?
Aye.
Mr. Furley?
Aye.
President Oliver Davis?
Aye.
8 ayes.
Thank you. Now, can you please read Bill 5614?
Bill 5614, third reading on a bill to vacate the following described properties. The first east-west alley, south of Colfax Avenue, from Lafayette Boulevard to the first north-south alley.
Thank you. What is your pleasure?
Move for the passage as amended, with regards to the,
A motion to pass with a cross-access agreement.
Second.
there you go.
Thank you. Please take the roll.
Mr. Henry Davis Jr.
Aye.
Mrs. Shea.
Aye.
Dr. Fred Burley.
Aye.
Dr. Bonner.
Aye.
Vice President Leader. Mr. Furley.
Aye.
Mr. Scott.
Aye.
President Oliver Davis.
Aye.
8 ayes.
Thank you. Now could you please read Bill 4714?
Bill 4714, third reading on a bill of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, amending Chapter 21 of the South Bend Municipal Code, Article 11, definitions to revise the definition of accessory structure, building, or use.
Thank you.
Motion for the passage of 4714.
Second.
Please take the roll.
Mrs. Shea.
Aye.
Dr. Fred Burley. Dr. Bonner.
Aye.
Vice President Leader. Mr. Burley.
Aye.
Mr. Scott.
Aye.
Mr. Henry Davis.
Aye.
President Oliver Davis.
Aye.
8 ayes.
Thank you. Now could you please read Bill 4814?
Bill 4814, third reading on a bill of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, amending Chapter 21 of the South Bend Municipal Code, Article 3, Commercial Mixed-Use District, to add a subsection to Community Business District and General Business District related to the outdoor display and sales of automobiles.
Motion for the passage of 4814.
Second.
Please take the roll.
Dr. Fred Burley. Dr. Varner.
Aye.
Vice President Leader. Mr. Burley.
Aye.
Mr. Scott.
Aye.
Mr. Henry Davis Jr.
Aye.
Mrs. Shea.
Aye.
President Oliver Davis.
Aye. Thank you. Now could you please read Bill 6014?
Bill 6014, third reading on a bill of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, amending various sections of Article 12 of Chapter 13 of the South Bend Municipal Code, addressing chronic problems property regulations.
Motion for the passage of 6014.
Second.
Could you please take the roll?
Dr. Varner.
Aye.
Vice President Peters. Mr. Burley.
Aye.
Mr. Scott.
Aye.
Mr. Henry Davis Jr.
Aye.
Mrs. Shea.
Aye.
Dr. Fred Burley. President Oliver Davis.
Aye. Now down to our resolutions. Could you please read Resolution 14102?
14102, a resolution confirming the adoption of a declaratory resolution designating certain areas within the city of South Bend, Indiana, commonly known as 2820 Meridian Drive, as an economic revitalization area for purposes of a 5-year personal property tax abatement for Max Tools and Engineering.
Thank you. Do we have a presenter? Please state your name, address, and a brief remarks.
Chris Fleming, Director of Business Development, 14 floors on City Building. Before you have the confirmed resolution from Mac Tool, they're a aerospace manufacturer off of Bendix on Meridian Drive. They're proposing to purchase approximately $5 million in new equipment, with $1,950,000 that will be purchased yet this year. They believe this will create 35 new jobs and maintain 60 jobs that are currently out there. This is a 5-year personal property abatement, with total taxes to be abated of approximately $126,000.
Thank you. Questions, comments? From-
Yes.
Yes.
Chris, in your expertise dealing with tax abatements all the way to this point, what do you think will happen with city government or the city growth if we did not offer any tax abatements?
Certainly the economy, the way it's been going, would certainly come to a halt. You have to understand that economic development in this country, not just the state, is a competitive nature within each city. What you have to offer that will be coming from incentives, tax abatement, and a workforce are extremely competitive. You're competing not
You're no longer competing against LaPorte and Elkhart. You're now competing against Texas, California, Florida, and the competition is stiff. So the fact that we've done so well this year, it certainly is a testament to the workforce and the incentives that we responsibly offer. But I can guarantee you that if we begin to police employers and treat them as though they owe us something, then you will lose employers.
Well, we wouldn't necessarily be policing employers if we wouldn't have any business dealings with them, right? So my question now, given that tax abatement deal, if we are policing lightly, why aren't we making sure the companies that are not in compliance are paying out the way they're supposed to? Make sure it's black and white and no gray. I've noticed that we have had for some time since I've been on council, companies that are out of compliance and they don't get, I guess they don't get charged for the money that they were supposed to get charged when they're found to be out of compliance. I'm clear there's probably like 3 companies right now that have, at least 3 companies right now that I can name off the top of my head that are out of compliance, that are not matching up to what they said that they were going to do. So if we're going to allow a tax abatement to go through because we need a tax abatement to get these companies that we need here for employment purposes, then the companies need to match up to what they say they're going to do as well. It's a two-way street, right? I would think it would be.
You have to understand that actually the functionality of tax abatement. Tax abatement, while it's processed locally and approved by this body, is not governed by this body at the end of the day. We are the paper and the information collectors for the state. The state can actually enforce the tax abatement. So when employers complete what's called CF1 on an annual basis, well, we collect those. All municipalities collect those on behalf of the state. If the employer is found to be out of compliance, that's a state function, not a local function.
So when A.J. Wright was found to be out of compliance, they didn't pay the money back to South Bend, Indiana?
That was part of the development agreement, not the tax abatement.
That was part of the development agreement?
And that's purely because of the tip that was involved.
Okay.
Not tax abatement.
Okay, so we got to call the state to make sure that they mandate and collect the funds when they're out of compliance for South Bend.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Next question, Dr. Furley.
Do we get a report on that then from the state?
Nope.
We actually put that report together on June 1st every year. And so they were all active tax abatements, not just tax abatements that were given approved during that 1 year. It's all active, so it goes back almost 10 years.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you. Next, any other questions? Yes?
Just a business question. You had said Mac Tool is aerospace. Is this a division of a... Mac Tool, I thought, was a tool manufacturer.
We're on tool and die.
Actually, what happened was they were very smart, and when the economy took a downturn, they actually diversified their manufacturing, the products that they offered, as opposed to trying to manufacture 100,000 or 200,000 inexpensive parts. They now work into the aerospace industry, so they may do 50 or 100 parts, but the cost of those parts are much more, but also on top of that, then the skilled labor that's required and the machinery and equipment that's required for this precision manufacturing. The higher wages, higher skill, but also more expensive equipment.
Okay, same company, just...
Absolutely.
Oh, thank you.
Any other questions?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Last one real quick. Are we going to start offering tax abatements in areas that have not traditionally had the ability to offer tax abatements? Western Avenue is one clear example of not having the ability to offer a tax abatement in that area. We do special exceptions for that particular area, have done in the past. So given the fact that you need business recruitment in different areas and also in the underdeveloped, depreciated areas, wouldn't it be, good for us to offer the tax abatement in those areas since it brings in so much traffic and new business growth?
Tax abatements are actually available within any redevelopment district. Any tax abatement requested outside of that would be an exception to the ordinance.
I'm aware of that.
However, we brought every single one of those forward, and my knowledge have never denied one.
No, I'm not talking about the denial process. I'm just actually making sure that we are able to offer, so that it's here on the table when the investor comes to the table. It's not, okay, I gotta go and do a special exception, something different than if I was downtown South Bend or by Notre Dame. It's already offered. It's offered, it's already on the table, is what I'm getting at.
Any other questions? Okay, now we open it up for public discussion. All those who'd like to speak in favor, please come forward. Give your name and thoughts. All those who'd like to speak in opposition, please do likewise. Public hearing is now closed. Dr. Council.
Move for the adoption of 14102.
Second.
Voting clerk, could you please take the roll?
Vice President
Aye.
Mrs. Furley.
Aye.
Mr. Scott.
Aye.
Mr. Henry.
Aye.
Mrs. Shea.
Aye.
Dr. Fred Furley.
Aye.
Dr. Varner.
Aye.
President Oliver Davis.
Aye. Yes. Thank you. Now could you please read resolution 14103?
Resolution 14103. A resolution confirming the adoption of a declaratory resolution designating certain areas within the city of South Bend, Indiana, commonly known as 5233 Diamond Drive, an economic revitalization area for the purpose of a 5-year personal property tax abatement for Chase Plastics.
Thank you.
You make your, this for public hearing with 14104 proper function.
Move that we hear 14104 from the same company in conjunction with previous
Second.
resolution.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Now, therefore, can you please read bill number 14104?
14104. A resolution confirming the adoption of a declaratory resolution designating certain areas within the city of South Bend, Indiana, commonly known as 5233 Diamond Drive, an economic revitalization area for the purposes of a 10-year real property tax abatement for CDK Land Development, LLC.
Thank you. Now to hear public, some presentation on both of these. Please state your name and your
Chris
thoughts.
Field, Department of Community Investment, 14 floor of this building. Before you have two confirming resolutions for both personal property for 5 years and a real property abatement for CDK Land Development, Chase Plastic. Chase Plastic is a leading full-service specialty engineering thermal plastic distributor. They serve plastic processors through North and Central America. Their desire is to build a new warehouse and distribution center here in South Bend, in Ameriplex in the first district. They've been negotiating approximately 9.55 acres, build a 125,000 square foot facility with approximately $6 million investment. Taxes abated on the 5-year personal property abatement would be $10,788. Total taxes abated on the 10-year real property abatement would be $546,000.
Thank you. Any questions? Seeing no questions, well, thank you. At this time, we open up for public hearing. Those who like to speak on any one of these two bills, please come forward.
State-driven things that all come from the personnel council. The people who are be out of compliance.
What's your name and address?
Paul Fair with council.
I would get all the copies. We're excited about the project. It's for the area. And that is really very for our city, especially when we're talking about industrial development.
Thank you. Anyone else? Those who like to speak in opposition to any one of these two bills? Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Move for adoption of 14102. Second. Please take the roll.
Mr. Furley.
Aye.
Mr. Scott.
Aye.
Mr. Henry Davis Jr.
Aye.
Mrs. Shea.
Aye.
Dr. Fred Furley.
Aye.
Dr. Varner.
Aye.
Vice President.
Aye.
President Oliver Davis.
Aye.
8 ayes.
Thank you. Now please take the roll on 14014. Move for adoption of 14104. Second. Now take the roll.
Mr. Scott.
Aye.
Mr. Henry Davis Jr.
Aye.
Mrs. Shea.
Aye.
Dr. Fred Furley.
Aye.
Dr. Varner.
Aye.
Vice President Dieter.
Aye.
Mr. Furley.
Aye.
President Oliver Davis.
Aye. Thank
8
you.
ayes.
Now could you please read Bill 14105? I know it states 104. So the scrivener's error. So 105.
14105. A resolution of the Common Council of the City of South Bend designating a certain area within the City of South Bend, Indiana, commonly known as 802 Napoleon, as a residentially distressed area for purposes of a 5-year residential real property tax abatement for Laura Carlson and Robert West.
Thank you. Can you give us your presentation?
Good evening, council members.
We need a report from our investment.
Sir, community investment sends us forward favorably.
Now can you give us? Thank you.
Good evening, council members. Brock Steve, Department of Community Investment, 14th floor of this building. Before you is a 5-year residential property tax abatement. With 802 Napoleon is estimated taxes paid of $18.93 and estimated taxes to be paid are $18,550. Mr. Bond is here to answer any questions about the potential financing.
Thank you. Mr. Duran, give us a short synopsis.
President, council members, Dale Devon, Devon Builders, 178, State Road 23, Indiana. The home builder representing Laura Carlson and Robert West on the property that property's been taken. I'm not sure for how long, but it's been taken for quite some while. It's a smaller lot. It also allows them to get building in that area. The 3 variances to get a house being possessed, and they're making 100 square feet. Will be around 10,000 home in that area. This will be about 11 houses in that community in that area.
Thank you. Any questions from Mr. Duran? Seeing none, we now go to the public. Those who like to speak in favor, please share your thoughts. Those who like to speak in opposition, do likewise. Public hearing is now closed.
Move for adoption of 14-105.
Second.
Please take the roll.
Mr. Scott?
Aye.
Mr. Henry Davis Jr.?
Aye.
Mrs. Shea?
Aye.
Dr. Fred Furley? Dr. Varner?
Aye.
Vice President Dieter?
Aye.
Mr. Furley?
Aye.
President Oliver Davis?
Aye.
8 ayes.
Thank you. Now for Bill 14-100.
That's been continued.
I'd like to make a motion to continue 14-100 to January 26th, which is the second meeting in January.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. Now for our first readings. We have a first reading on Bill 6114.
First reading, 6114. First reading on the bill of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, amending Section 9-17 of the South Bend Municipal Code addressing EMS Operating Enterprise Fund 288, creating a new section 9-17.1 EMS Capital Enterprise Fund
Why did it come
number
with this back after the budget?
287 and creating a new section 2-170.15 Central Services Capital Fund 224.
I have a quick question before the motion is going to be taken really quick. The fire department filed this?
The Department of Administration and Finance, the City Controller.
Filed this right here?
Yes.
But this deals with the fire department, right? Or no?
This deals with the budget that the council passed at the last meeting.
Okay.
I move that 6114 go to second and third reading, public hearing on November 24th.
Second.
And sent to
Okay,
the post
please.
office.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Committee.
I got health and public safety for whatever reason. I think that's what we talked about back there.
Combined.
My mistake.
And sent to Health and Public Safety and Personal Finance Committee. Thank you.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Unfinished business. Any unfinished business? New business?
Yes, sir. President Davis, just really quick, I want to find out if there's any appetite on the council's behalf. I don't know if it happens before the end of the year or next year, but there needs to be a conversation with the assessor's office and the auditor's office. And it has a lot to do with how our money is collected, not from only from the state, but how it is collected through the TIF districts, and how the properties are being assessed within those given areas. There is a lot of lopsidedness as it relates to different areas where TIF districts are. Some properties are like way out of bounds with market value. For instance, the bankruptcy court downtown, the federal building down here, sold for like $7.5 million here recently. It was assessed at like $1.5 million. How does that happen? So when you're given a TIF district and you're trying to collect that new money, you lose. You don't get anything out of that. So but you can go to the south side of town, and you have a TIF district that was retired because the monies were pouring in, you know, at a higher level. But that area was mainly, you know, somewhat residential, some companies over there. So that would suggest that the assessed values are extremely high, and people are paying more money out in taxes. So that's how it's paid back fast. We can't have it on that level of evenness when it comes to market values, because that deals again back with the taxes. That deals with our ability to recruit employers in here. Is not the tax rate that helps us. If we are able to change the way the assessed values look and reflect market value in given areas, the better off we are. But if we're going to continue to use TIF dollars to help recruit employers in and do different things, and we're not collecting that money back from the new employers or the new businesses that are coming in, their TIF districts are going to be needing replenished, but we're not having any money to replenish them. We won't have any more money. So it's a train wreck coming if we don't correct some of these things.
I'd like to host that on the Councilman Galvin Approach Committee.
It doesn't matter. We need to talk about it.
Community investment? Thank you. It's fine. All right. Brother, you share the floor. We have a few minutes to share thoughts regarding, could you, anybody like to speak? If you all think get ready to line up that way, so we know who everybody is, and I won't close on anybody.
You have 3 minutes. I'll give you a 1 minute exit warning.
Anybody else? Okay, thank you. All right. Now, I like this next one. All right, go ahead, Mr. Again.
I'll try to be brief. I'm going to put a different hat on. For those that may not know, I'm a state representative from the state of Indiana. I served 10 years on our county council. We were working with the county council. We have a lot to do with what Henry Davis was talking about earlier. And I served on the House Education Committee. And one thing I was very fortunate to do last year was carry governor's bill for adult high school. And I do a lot with our juvenile justice center here working with kids. And I serve on the school board, Pelham Crossing. I work with that is giving kids a second chance. And a lot of our problems with a lot of communities, when you look at funding, we talk about funding for schools and education for schools. Penn's getting about $5,800 for the child. Mishawaka is about $6,400 for the child. South Penn's getting about $7,400 to $7,500 for the child.
Wow.
The graduation rates are much heavier. On Penn, you get about 97% graduation rate and bigger bang for your dollars. So what's the difference? Why are Penn school kids graduating at a much higher rate with less funding? And it's basically a lot to do with the breakdown of the family. You've got a two-parent household majority in a school system like that versus South Penn. So that's something that we need to work on and we're trying to do. But a lot of it is education, getting kids educated. That's what we're trying to do. We're getting kids educated before they get to kindergarten, and that's something that we're working on. One of the things I was very fortunate to do, carry the governor's bill last year for adult high schools. We have 10 adult high schools in the state of Indiana. South Penn doesn't have one. Guess what? We're going to get one. And it's, what's great about it is it's administered by Goodwill Industries. And it's given families and people a second chance to get their diploma, not just a GED, or even without a diploma, to realize that they need to work on educating people and gone through life that later in life realizing that they need to go back and get it. It's given a second chance. The other thing I do is serve as the National Director of the Home Builders Association. Been working with the governor, something that we're going to do this year. There's a national program right now that is training veterans coming
1 minute.
Training veterans coming back into the community, and also re-entry for prisoners coming back in. And we've got an 80% placement rate with these people that are coming out of our wars and our veterans and working with incarcerated people. So things are working. We just need a little more time and community involvement. And I think
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff. How can we help with that?
Can we move on with that? This is a little bit later. And thank you. Now, next one.
Good evening. Theodore Roberts, 2617 Christian Street. Members of the South Bend Council that come to me today, just want to shed light on some things that have been taking place in the country. One important fact that I want to express to you guys are the ongoing federal discrimination complaints that have been filed against the chief of police, both employment and racial discrimination complaints. And I wish the mayor was here so that this can be relayed to him. Members of the council, and most importantly, as well as the citizens of South Bend, not only have I filed racial discrimination complaints, but other minority police officers within the police department have filed racial discrimination and employment discrimination complaints against the chief. What's more important is that none of these complaints are against the chief. Nothing has been done. That's very important. Yet at the same time, rank and file officers who are being brought up on charges by the chief of police are sitting on the 13th floor before the Board of Public Safety fighting for their jobs. Yet our chief of police, as well as other appointed police officers, complaints are filed against them. Nothing happened. To give you a quick example, we had an officer had the Gaming Commission say this. He applied for a promotion within the police department. During that interview, federal laws were broken. He then had to file a complaint with the DOD, he had to file a complaint with the Department of Labor, he had to file a complaint with the EOC, all in independent investigation. It wasn't until we filed formal federal complaints, then the city decides, and I say city, I mean the legal department as well as HR, they then decide, well, we need to do something. Well, why is it that we have to file federal complaints before they decide to take us seriously and treat us as equal? That's not happening.
1 minute, sir.
Okay. So, and here's another thing. The chief of police can decide any time to file complaints against officers. Okay? But here's what's going on. When we have to go before the board, who's financing that? Taxpayers. Okay? We have to defend ourselves. If the chief of police can file complaints against us, and yet our taxpayers have to foot that bill. He can do that any time. He's not paying a dime. That's unfair. I wish I had more time to speak with you all, but there is a big racial divide within this city, as well as the police department, and our mayor is allowing it to happen. All right.
Thank you. Next.
And I'm here again to bring up the issue of the complaints that I have filed with you over the last 6 months. It's been over 4 months since my initial complaint, 6.5 months that was told to be addressed. And it's been 5 to 6 weeks since then, and it still has not been addressed. This council has been derelict in its duties in addressing in a timely manner the complaints of the citizens. This lack of response to the citizens of this city constitutes a lack of ethical responsibility and a disregard for commonly recognized ethical standards. The underlying reasons for a high level of integrity and ethical conduct by this council and local government is the need for confidence in the quality of service and leadership, regardless of the individual providing that service. It is unclear to me if the problem is the result of the Rules Committee not dealing with it, the President of the Council not sending the complaints to the Rules Committee, or stopping the vote in that committee. Maybe it's just the Council as a whole not being willing to appeal a decision by that committee against the Council President. What can you do to respond to these complaints according to this rule? What are you willing to do while you each hold a seat on this council? Is there a possibility for a public vote of review or removal from a leadership position on the committee? Of course, as a citizen, we can always get a new council members at the next election. But wouldn't it be better for each of you if you took action that you can now to preserve your seat and what's left of the integrity of this city of your council? I have looked into the municipal code governing this council and the footnoted state code. I have some of them attached to this privilege statement that I was putting in.
1 minute, ma'am.
The codes, I believe, will give you the right and the obligation to deal with these issues. Your true ethical responsibility extends beyond satisfying individual responsibilities and beyond the requirements of society's laws and regulations. Ethical behavior recognizes a responsibility to the taxpayer, even if this behavior requires personal sacrifice. Holding each other responsible to a higher level of ethical standards
It's not an easy or an enjoyable thing to actually attend, but it is what you need to do as an elected official.
Next.
President Davis. President Davis.
Yes.
Can you please make sure Rhonda, is that her name?
Yes.
Hi. Make sure she gets the response that was sent out. I think I got a response as well. And if she hasn't gotten it, she needs to get the response, because she comes here every council meeting with the same question, and obviously she has not gotten the answer that she either is looking for or has not got an answer at all.
Thank you.
And if I have the information, she should have the information.
Thank you. Next.
Aaron Franklin, 4720, Bill Smith, 56, South Bend, Indiana. I have the same problem. Get no response. About 2 years ago, I went down to the local assistant U.S. Attorney's office to report some criminality involving federal questions against Prairie Apartments. And for 2 years, I've been trying to get a response or get it in, and I've been unable to. I went to the office. They said, well, we're going to take walk-ins from the street. It's got to be more formal, a group or a body or something. So I said, well, hey, how about the South Bend Common Council? Great, yeah, that'd be fine. Well, I've been trying for nearly 2 years, and I just haven't had any success. So, I went to my representative for the district involved and got no response. Then I went to his boss, got no response. So I decided, well, maybe I better go to a meeting. So I went to a meeting, voiced the complaint against their Prairie Apartment, and I got no response. So then I went down to the city clerk's office. So they said, you're doing it the wrong way. You're going to have to start all over again. What? Nearly 2 years? Yeah. So you got to fill out a privilege to the board form and give me a copy of it. And so I did. So last meeting, that's what I did. So here it is, right here. It's about 3 pages. So you'll get a response.
2 minutes, 1 minute, sir.
Here I am. No response. What do I do now? Huh?
Thank you. Next.
Yes, Dave Wilson, 1101 21st Street. I come here tonight to bring up some old business. Wiretapping. As a taxpayer in the city of South Bend, I would like to know why Mayor Pete will not release those tapes. I get thinking to myself, I wonder why, is it a racial thing? Which, personally myself, I think it's a racial thing on those tapes, or is it something that's going to hurt the Democratic Party? And also, I'm kind of sad Mayor Pete left, because I wanted to tell him the people over on the east side pay taxes too. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for letting me come up here. I am Dwayne Panic. I live at 2818 Credit. Some of you folks already know me. We've had, there's the man. We've had a lot of problems on the west side. Frederickson, for 4 or 5 years now, we've been fighting with the city. I've contacted the mayor's office. I've contacted the police department. I've contacted engineering. Between the police department and engineering, they keep kicking the ball back and forth. The problem is, we have roughly 15 to 20 little kids in our neighborhood. We have elderly people that are handicapped. We also got to dodge 3,000-pound bullets all day long that are running at 50, 60, 70 miles an hour down a very narrow street. And I have talked to Pete, his last mayor's meeting, and he got a chuckle on it. Well, I don't see anything funny about it. I've talked to engineers. They told him, plain out, we're not going to do a damn thing until somebody gets killed or maimed. Well, there's a problem here. Now, what it seems to me is the city's telling me that the neighbors in there who are have had 15 to 20 at least close calls. The latest one was after you folks in the city put up the speed limit sign. That lasted a day and a half. Then it went right back to 50, 60 miles an hour, and we're talking cars, motorcycles, delivery trucks, school buses, city school buses flying down there. And, you know, I'm sorry, but something's got to be done here. And we've asked the city to remedy the problem. We asked they put up the posted speed limit. We asked that maybe...
1 minute, sir.
Pardon?
1 minute. Keep going.
We turned around and asked if they could put a four-way stop down through there, and also to put in something like a speed bump, which they say they cannot do, but they got something else they can. And I'd just like to see this taken care of before somebody gets killed. And the people we've talked to in the city, they seem to think it's a joke. I don't see any joke in people getting killed or maimed. I'll let you folks deal with that now.
Thank you. Last one.
Jesse Davis, P.O. Box 205,000, Indiana. My first comment or suggestion would be, everybody I'm sure appreciates the beautiful carpet, new chairs, the new seating out there. How about some working audio that's worth a crack? You guys have been dealing with this for how many years?
7.
I could sit in those chairs that are out here, but if I can't hear what you guys have to say, it doesn't do any good to sit in that chair. So this probably would have been a much better use of my tax dollars than anybody else sitting in this room actually. Not only can we not hear you when we're in the room, the people watching on television, they can't hear you either. So this would have been a better expense. If they got money for all these chairs, let's upgrade this stuff so we don't have to bring in the little hearing aid digits and try to listen to this. And I just wanted to also reiterate what I said in the last meeting here about the vacant abandoned housing. I don't recall exactly if there was extra money put into that because of the asbestos and the testing that we had done or whatever.
It wasn't.
But you guys are supposed to be getting reports. You're not getting reports. And the reports that are being heard by the people are, this isn't being handled properly. And if that's in fact true, it's actually endangering the people's health and well-being. Not only the workers on the job, but the people around those sites. And we've got contractors who have been in question for years, who were double-dipping, who are now involved in the demolition. I took photographs of them 2 weeks ago on Western Avenue, tearing down a building. Also one of the city people who's involved in the legal battle I've been entrenched in for 4 years. I see brand new dump trucks sitting there. Hensley Trucking on
1 minute, sir.
demolition. You guys, this guy's from out of town. There's been so many issues brought up. This guy is not even a valid corporation. But for some reason, somebody in the city keeps dishing work to these people. I don't understand it. Well, you have local contractors who are starving right now. And I'm not speaking about myself, I'm talking about others. Somebody needs to get on this stuff and take care of it.
Thank you. Our meeting is adjourned.
Mr. Lima? I noticed that they just put on the rugs and it's giving me a purple headache. I think it's that powder that sprinkle. Could you ask him not to do that?
Making up it early.
Hey, Dave.
Generally speaking, go ahead and more people as well.
You know, there's
The buildings look nice.
Yeah, the buildings look
So, let me make a note.
Well, no, it's